Driving for Mr. Jonathan Gilliam.
Thank you, everybody. All right, it's raining. I don't want to keep everybody out here for a long time. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to teach you a quick class. I don't even need an umbrella. Don't worry about that. I'm going to teach you a quick class. All right, that's what we're here for. We're not just here to hear me speak. I'm here to teach you all. That's what I do. I teach. So I want everybody in front. Everybody come up here in front. We're going to do a participation. I want everybody up here. If you're here for this rally, I want everybody up front. Come on, let's move with a purpose. Let's go. We don't have much time. It's raining. And you guys can make it deep. You don't have to come this close. All right, here's what I want to do. In the military, those of you that are veterans, you know how to dress right. You know, you put your elbow up here. You make sure your elbow across. I want everybody to do that. I'm doing this for a reason. All right, everybody dress right. Put your elbow up. Make sure you're squared off. I want everybody in straight lines.
Dress right, dress.
Let's go. If you're a veteran, help everybody out.
You gotta go with your arm like this.
Let's go. Move with a purpose. This is what we do. We move with a purpose. Come on. I want to see everybody in a straight line, just like this. Straight line. Straight line. Should be front to back, side to side. There's a reason why I'm doing this, folks.
That's how you do it.
Okay. What you see happening right now, this is called unity. Unity works when you have leaders that know they have a mission, they know what standard operating procedures are, they know how to task organize, but more importantly, unity works when you have a citizenry that wants to work together. Now, you all showed up here. Everybody that's out here right now, that's an American citizen, that's not even a part of this, should be here, but they're not. And here's the facts, folks. There is a very small group of people in this country that are actually true patriots. You realize that? They're comfortable saying they're patriots. People walk up to me all the time and say, "Thank you for your service." They're comfortable saying that. But what they don't realize is that they are responsible for the true service to freedom. If you don't serve freedom, and if you're out there right now and you're listening to this, and you don't serve freedom, and you're a citizen, you are taking your citizenship for granted, and you are failing the founding fathers of this country. The founding fathers of this country gave us the tools. They fled tyranny. They created and started the fire that will forge freedom. But they are not the fighters of freedom anymore. We are. You are the fighters of freedom. You should not be comfortable saying I'm a patriot unless you wake up in the mornings, every morning, and do what it takes to sustain freedom. Those of you, you'll be laughed at. I've been laughed at because I support a president that isn't a part of the two-party corrupt system.
Amen.
In 1995, I sat on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial right down there. After I'd spent a week in Washington, D.C. as a senior in college, I got to spend a day in the DNC and a day in the RNC. And then I spent a week in the White House answering phone calls under the Clinton presidency. And when I sat there in 1995, what I felt was disillusionment. I didn't know what was happening with this country. I was 25 years old. I'd sat here in the seat of government for the first time, and I had no clue who they were serving. I didn't know what was going on. Years later, after I'd become a cop, served in the United States Navy as a Navy SEAL officer, went on and became an air marshal, then did threat assessments all over this country for the Department of Homeland Security, and later became an FBI agent in New York City. What I realized at that point is that we're looking at organized crime. We're looking at communism. And we're looking at two parties, and I'm not talking about the people in the Republican Party. I'm talking about the establishment members in the Republican Party and the majority of people that belong to the Democratic Party. They work in collusion together.
Yes, they do.
And there's another thing called the Red-Green Alliance, which is fundamental Islam and communism working together.
Yes, sir.
And you all need to know about this. If you say you're patriots, you should wake up every day and you should educate yourself on the reality of what's happening in this country. And if you're back there and you're an American citizen, you need to be doing the same thing. Yes. If you can hear my voice, I am a voice crying out in the world. Make the path straight for the Lord to travel and make freedom sustainable. Right now, what's happening is you're failing at your job. The founding fathers gave their lives. Soldiers gave their lives. Slaves gave their lives. Women gave their lives. Special interest people want to talk about what we should do for gay people. Gay people gave their lives for freedom. And now, it's going to die with you, the American citizenry, because you refuse to fight. You think you got to go to some far-off land to fight. The enemy is here. And for the first time in our history, the enemy was born here. And they exist right there. They exist right there. And they, the people that work in there, are working to destroy our Constitution. You should not be comfortable with anyone that says they want to change the Constitution. Right. There are a couple amendments that came along back in the early 1900s that I do agree should be gone. I do believe that there should be term limits. I do believe that serving in government shouldn't be a career. Right. It should be a duty and an honor. Yes. It should be just like jury duty, where you're called to do it. Mm-hmm. But getting back to what I was saying before, people do not know what they have because they were born in freedom. They were born in it. And comfort, for those of you that have served in the military, you know what I'm talking about. Comfort kills. Comfort will put you in the hospital. Comfort will paralyze your dreams. And comfort will destroy freedom. Freedom demands. It demands your participation. But the people that want you to live under their rules, the people that want you to learn dependency, the people that belong to that two-party, corrupt, organized crime and communist system, they don't want you to participate. They want you to be comfortable. They want you to sign over and say, we elected this person, we elected that person. We're comfortable with them going to Washington, D.C. We're comfortable with them being up in your capital or in your mayor's office, your chief of police, your sheriff. We're comfortable with that, with them being a judge. And you resign the duty to sustain freedom over to them, and then you just go off and you have a good day. You have your beer after work. You go out and buy your new clothes and find out what the new fashion is. All along, you are slowly burying yourself in your comfort, and you're allowing them to protect your freedom. Here's the thing, folks. Tyranny can only happen when a free people turn over their freedom to those tyrannical leaders. And tyranny will be sustained when the people that gave over their freedom are crushed by the same people they gave it over to. Remember that. This may sound like over-the-top stuff. Maybe not to this group, but if other people are back here listening, it may seem over the top. But trust me, folks, I worked in the government for over 15 years on official duty. I didn't realize what I was looking at until I stepped out of it. And it gets worse every year, but you're indoctrinated every year to accept a little bit more. Accept a little bit more. It's okay, don't worry. We hate, the Republicans say we hate Obamacare. But yet they don't do anything about it when it comes time for them to do something about it. They should have had a bill and said, Mr. President, we're so glad you're here. We've been working on this for 7 years to make sure that every American has health insurance if that's what they want to do. They didn't do that.
They're in collusion.
They're in collusion.
Yeah, lobbyists.
You need to realize it's not a swamp. This is a cesspool. I've been saying this for a long time before President Trump. A swamp is an ecosystem. Those of you that have been through ranger school or any type of training where you got to go through a swamp. A swamp is an ecosystem. There's stuff in there that will devour you. You go down to your local sewer plant, and there's not much more in there than waste. Human waste. Which is what we got up here. Human waste. So I'm going to leave you with this. Look at this. The Lord wanted me to speak. He opened up the skies.
Yes.
I want to leave you with this. I want you to think about this. You see how I got you all on the line right here? This is what it's going to take. You all are the modern day Johnny Appleseeds. You go out. You plant the seeds. You're the ones that will change the world. Remember, the founding fathers set something in motion. They gathered the tools together. They started the fire. But just like a samurai sword, where they take the materials, they put them in the fire, they put them in the water, they put them in the fire, they hammer it, they flip it over, they hammer it, they put it in the fire some more. This goes on for a long process. It's called forging. This country is being forged. The founding fathers founded it. They fought for it. They established it. But they did not go through the forging process. That is happening now. And the only way it's going to be sustained is if the American people do what you're doing right now. If you stand together, it doesn't matter if you're in the front row or if you're in the back row or if you're on the left or the right. It doesn't matter. The fact is, if you stand together, amazing things can be done. Again, ask any veteran. When you take one veteran and you say, go fight that war, they're going to lose. But if you take 1,000 and you say, I want you to go to fight this battle, and I want you to crush this enemy, I'm going to teach you these skills, and I'm going to give you these weapons, then they go do that. And they fight that battle and they win because they're free people. They were never conquered. America was never conquered. We were established. So that's what I'm doing for you. I'm giving you the tools so that you can go and stand together, so that you don't stand alone, so that you understand who the enemy is. You can identify who the enemy is, and you can go and do battle with them. And let me tell you something. It's not going to be done with guns. It's going to be done with unity. It's going to be done by knowing who you're voting for. It's going to be done by the few spreading the word to the many and convincing them that this is the truth, this is the way, and this is how we sustain freedom. So don't walk out of here. Don't walk away from this thinking, that was a great rally, I'm pumped up. You have a job to do. Like I said before, they'll laugh at you. I live in Manhattan. I ride around on a scooter. It's an electric scooter. You can't get around in Manhattan anymore without in a car. On the front of it, I have a Trump sticker. And I get laughed at. You know what? Let them laugh at you.
That's right.
Let them laugh at you, because what's coming down the pipe, if we fail, they won't be laughing anymore.
Right.
But if we do what's right, trust me, folks, they're not going to be laughing. They weren't laughing on November 8th, excuse me, not on November 9th. They weren't laughing then. They're not laughing now. So don't allow people that don't believe in what you believe, that don't see what you see, don't allow them to kill your motivation. Don't allow them to walk all over you. And also, don't waste too much time on people that want to challenge you and not listen. Don't worry about those people. Move on to the next one. Farmers don't go down a row and get fixated on one seed. Farmers continue to plant, and then they harvest that, and then they feed their families with it, and they feed America. And that's what you're going to do. All right, so I'm going to leave you with this. I know we got to go. I want you to imagine right now that the founding fathers of this country are standing around with us here. And standing amongst you right now with angry faces, they're saying to you that we provided you with the vessel of freedom. And only you could sustain that freedom. But now, that freedom and the vessel that it came upon, the great constitution of this country, are at risk of dying with you. Because all this country wants to do, and all the American people want to do, and all the politicians want to do, is serve their self. And they've forgotten about the tyranny that our founding fathers fled from. Let's go just a step further. Imagine all those that have fallen in battle are also standing around you right now. And they're looking down at you with confused faces. And they're saying to you, we gave our lives for you. And only you could sustain the freedom for future generations. But that freedom is at risk of dying with you, because all anybody wants to do is serve themselves. And let's not forget about the enslaved and the oppressed. If it wasn't for our Constitution, those people would still be enslaved and oppressed. They're enslaved and oppressed in other countries because they don't have our Constitution. But our Constitution, the Founding Fathers set a series of events in motion that would allow them to eventually be free. Now imagine if they're standing with us here today, and they're looking down at us with confused faces and sad faces. And they're saying, we gave our lives for you. But only you can ensure that our legacy lives forever. And now our legacy and your freedom and the great Constitution are at risk of dying with you. And so I ask you, have you taken the oath? You don't have to be in office to take that oath, to sustain and defend the Constitution. Are you ready to stop being comfortable? Are you ready to stop putting people, even this president that's in the White House now, to stop putting people in office and saying, they got it, because they don't got it? You must hold every single person that gets elected to the fire. And if they don't do their job, you get rid of them.
Recall them.
Recall them. Find somebody else. There's plenty of people out there, and they don't have Democrat and Republican behind their name. They have American citizen behind their name. They have veteran behind their name. They have doctor, not attorney. We don't need any more of those. They have truck driver. They have nurse, paramedic, fireman, cop, biker. Listen, there's more veterans that are bikers than exist in this building back here, and I don't see anything going wrong with these guys.
That's right.
We need more bikers and veterans in the Capitol building. All right, so folks, that's the signal. The Lord's telling me to get out of here. It's going to rain. A frogman can sense when water is coming. So I'll leave you with this, folks. Be proud of who you are. This crowd doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be gigantic. It doesn't have to reach down there. Those are called the masses. And the only thing that's different between the masses and zombies is that zombies walk with their arms straight out. The masses do what they're told. They see what they're told. They act the way they're told to act. They eat what they're told to eat. Their fashion is what they're told to wear. Don't give in to that. I believe in you. And if this country needs to be great again, look at it this way. It was fewer than you that made this country.
That's right.
This group right here can change the world. You can change this country. And everybody else that's sitting around here should be listening. If you're an American citizen, you need to wake up. Because the Democratic and the Republican parties, the establishment in both of those parties, are destroying this country. And every seat of government in the United States, every single seat, is owned by those two parties. And those two parties, whether you realize it or not, are private companies. They are not government agencies. Every caucus that you vote in, every primary that you vote in, those are private voting events. Those are not government-sanctioned events. You all need to realize that. You've been monopolized. Every judge, every sheriff, every congressman, state and federal, every senator, every president, every Supreme Court justice are owned by those two private companies. It'd be no different than if Lowe's and Home Depot came up and owned every single seat. Take it back. I believe in you. Take it back. God bless you. I'm Jonathan Gilliam. The truth has arrived.
Yeah.